Development task. The term and concept regarding development task was the first introduced by the Robert Havighurst of the University of Chicago, USA, providing a definition as below. Development task is one which arises at a certain period in the life of an individual, successful and accomplishment of which lead to his happiness and success with a later task, while failure lead to unhappiness and difficulty with later task. A close analysis of above definition led a conclude about the meaning of the term development task. Development task is essentially linked with the development and development period from the birth till the expiry of the adolescence of the individual. Development tasks are age specific and essentially linked with the development stage of one's life. An individual at a particular age span stage of his growth and development is expected to perform certain tasks, performing certain type of cognitive and affective behavior, quite specific to his age and stage development. The adjustment with the self and environment depend upon the extent to which one is capable of performing this and age specific and development stage related to development task. In case one is successful in completing the related development task specific to his age and development period, he feel happy at the present and expected to perform future tasks successfully in his later life. The failure, on the other hand, makes his life miserable at present and puts a question mark on his ability to perform future tasks successfully in his later life. Key of a happiness and adjustment in this way lies in the proper identification of a development task and learning the ways and means of their successful accomplishment during the related development period of one's life. After having a question with the meaning and the nature of the development task, the question can now be raised regarding identification of and naming the development task, the source contributing toward the upstairs of the development task, critical ages at which society expected a member or master development task, purpose and goals of development task, role of the cultural and social pattern regarding the expectation of certain development tasks from its growing youngsters, a specific developmental task associated with the stage of a developmental period. Let us think over all such issues. Identifying and naming of development tasks. Developmental tasks related with the change in the behavior belonging to all the three dominant behavior, namely cognitive, cognitive, and affective. Cognitive development tasks: crawling, sitting, standing, walking, riding, jumping, running, throwing, catching, controlling, elimination of body waste, combing, dressing, eating, beating, stretching, stopping, drinking, kneeling, holding, leaning, smashing, balancing, identification by touching, seeing, smelling, or hearing, writing, handling the instrument, dancing, dining, driving, knitting, playing the musical organ, testing, poisoning, handling of the technological advanced instruments, etc. Second, cognitive development task: recognizing, recalling, reproducing, selecting, listening, labeling, measuring, counting, reading, underlining, classifying, distinguishing, explaining, justifying, interpreting, choosing, modifying, illustrating, comparing, analyzing, synthesizing, concluding, contrasting, arguing, generalizing, associating, criticizing, evaluating, summarizing, verifying, reporting, supporting, predicting, using, solving, relation, etc. Affective development task: accepting, attaining, sowing specific interest, attitudes, and aptitude for things, ideas, process, person, demonstrating particular of generalized habit of thinking, feeling, and action, demonstrating a particular level of social and emotional maturity, sex behavior, personal and social adjustment, and moral sense. The source contributing toward the upsurge of development task. Development task specific to an age stage of development may be necessitated by through the existence of accounting the following factor: maturation. As the child matures, it grew in the age. He definitely needs a certain task to be performed by him and adjust himself according to the changing need of his growing. Example: Such tasks are learning to crawl, stand, walk, dress, etc. Adjustment to the physical, social, and cultural environment. Adjustment to oneself. Critical age and development tasks. The development tasks are very much age and development stage specific. Hence, particular type of development task need to be carried out of particular age and development stage, especially during which the growing children are expected to perform a certain development task. D. Purpose and goals of development task. It is a well in interest of a growing children, parent and teacher for being acquainted with the nature of development tasks needed to be performed by the children at some specific age and development period of the life. The purpose and objective realized through such a knowledge may prove fruitful in the following way. It may provide the norm and normal expectations of the particular society or a cultural group. It may help in setting the mind and attitude of the children for making desirable attempt to learn the execution. It may provide a proper guideline to the teacher and parent for the helping the youngsters. It may help the society of the or a cultural group of a development own set of development. The knowledge of the critical gadgets specific development task may help the children, teacher and parent to plan their obligation and duties well in advance in view of a target lying ahead in a term of the required expected stage of maturity and experience gained for the executing the development task. Now, fifth is role of cultural and social pattern in development task. The development task, beside being age specific, and also said to be influenced by the nature of the life pattern prevailing in a social and cultural group. Sixth is the development task of various stages of development. The development period, as we know, in a human being rearranges the birth to the attainment of maturity, either expiry of adolescence period, the significant stage of development during development task infancy up to 2 years. Learning to crawl, stand, walk, run, climb, jump through, etc. Learning to drink and task solid food. Learn to talk. Learn to acquire psychological stability. Learning to control, eliminate body's waste. Learning to explore the physical environment surrounding him. Learn to play with toys. Learn to accomplish the skill of tricycling. Learn to pay attention toward the things, person, and event. Learn to recognize and identify the things and person, forming simple concept of a social and physical reality. Learn to recite a poem and stories. Learn to imitate the behavior and actions of the others. Learn to acquire almost all the positive and negative emotions in his behavior expressions. Learn to shift his attention from the play material to his learning matches. Learn to take interest in the company of his age mates and other growing children. Learn to relate oneself emotionally to a parent, sibling and others. Development task of early childhood from 3 year to 5 year. Learning to acquire a competence in the motor skill like walking, jumping, climbing, sliding, tricycling, hopping, galloping, skipping, throwing, bouncing, catching. Learn to acquire a simple basic in a knowledge language skill like speaking, listening, reading and writing. Learning sex difference and sex modesty. Learning to distinguish right and wrong. Developing of consciousness. Learn to develop a right concept related to the social and physical reality. Learn to remain away from the parental fold and enjoy the companionship of the other children. Learn to give up his I feeling and develop the we feeling. Learning to acquire the ability of sense similarities and dissimilarities compared with the contrast. Learning to control over the expression of emotions. Developmental task of the later childhood from 6 to 12 years. Learn to motor and physical skill necessary for playing different indoor and outdoor games. Learn to get along with the ages mates. Learning appropriate sex rules. Building a wholesome attitude toward the oneself of a growing organism. Development of a necessary skill in a language and communication competition, sketching and drawing, etc. Development of a various interest, attitude, linking and disliking toward the things and persons of a idea. Development concrete and abstract concepts regarding things, person, ideas, process. Development of a consciousness, morality and scale of value. Development of the capacity of reason, think and problem solving. Development of a loyalty toward the group. Development task of adolescence from 13 year to 18 year. Development of ability, motor, and physical skill of a playing difficult, complex, and a hard indoor and outdoor game. Development of ability, motor, and a physical capacity of a performing the mental task and physical labor. Development of a mental and cognitive ability to perform the difficult mental task and operation. Development of all type of a concept requiring concrete of a abstract operation. Learning to accept the one physical and satisfaction with one's appearance. Learning to play a masculine or feminine role, learning to develop a new relation with the age mates of both the sexes, learning to acquire maturity in a sex behavior, development of a sense of one's own identity, learning to gain the means and view of economic independence, development of a sentiment toward these things, person, place, and value, learning to acquire a civic sense, social responsibility, and a way of a democratic living, learning to build a sense of belongingness to one social group, culture, community, and nations, learning to adjust with a sense of a self sacrifice and materials like a feeling for the cause of a society, religious nation, humanity, gaining vocational awareness and get ready for entering into the higher academic of professional curiosity, courses of study, gaining competence and skill for meeting the needs of specific interest and aptitudes, striving to gain a desired high on the mental, emotional, and social maturity skills, preparing for playing the role of a matured adult in a future life. In this way, every society and a cultural group has a somewhat a list of a general and specific development tasks specifically associated with the age of a development period of life.